now we have the chance to turn our attention to our friend Martha Boone. Martha is joined by her friend Martha Riley and Steve Riley, among other friends, of course, that she has, but they're also key to this organization, the NubaWaterProject. Martha and her husband Rich began volunteering at the Walk for Sudan, which Martha nicely advertised earlier today, and which I'm delighted to take part in tomorrow, in 2009, 13-year involvement with a hiatus during COVID a little bit, but mostly every year, right? Martha's been active in mission work over the years, in places like Guatemala, Haiti. Martha's Rotarian. She and I are members of the same Rotary Club, Denver Southeast. I'm delighted to have her as my new friend and colleague there. She's been on her position with the NubaWater Board since 2018. And I would note our friend Nina Miller from Regis is here. Well, Martha's doctorate is from Regis University. So Martha, welcome and take it away.
Thank you. Yes, I wanted to introduce a little further. Steve Riley is one of the co-founders of the NubaWaterProject. That was in 2006. And Martha is the board president, and I serve on the board as well. So they're here. They can help with questions as well at the end. So thank you for being here, both in person and those who are virtually. We're very grateful for this opportunity to share about a NubaWaterProject and how it impacts communities throughout the Nuba Mountains. Our motto from the beginning has been clean water brings life. Communities everywhere, including the Nuba Mountains in Sudan, can thrive when they have access to clean water and sanitation. However, community has a larger meaning when speaking about NubaWaterProject. We operate with a 6-person board. We're small, a community of people with a passion for helping the people in the Nuba Mountains. And our strong connections with the Nuba people, both here in the U.S. and in Sudan, make that possible. We have a community of volunteers who work at our annual fundraiser, the Walk for Sudan, and we have a community of participants. One of the fun things we do at the walk is it's at Cherry Creek State Park, and so you can go down to the reservoir and we have containers, and for half of the walk people can carry water on their heads as you do in Sudan.
Check the slides. Are we on the right
slide? That's fine. That's the second one, so that's good right now. Yes, I mentioned that we were founded in 2006. Steve Riley is one of the founders. Also, Sudanese refugees who were living in Denver at the time. Ibrahim Agor and George Tuto were two of those, as well as some others. The refugees were determined to help their people in the Nuba Mountains, and the focus was to be clean water. So where are the Nuba Mountains? The red arrow points to Sudan, but you can see more clearly in the picture on the right that the Nuba Mountains are in South Kordofan, which is on the border of Sudan and South Sudan. The elevation ranges between 1,400 and 3,000 feet, and it's an area that encompasses about 19,000 square miles, has a population about 1.5 million. Next slide. Our original plan was to support clean water. We were able to impact the community of Billow, where we supplied the resources for them to build a catchment dam. And there were reservoirs available, and it was hoped that we could build some pipelines, but it wasn't long after this project that the civil war intensified and the government began the aerial bombings of the area. During this period of the aerial bombings between 2011 and 2019, our work necessarily changed focus. Families were displaced in caves and in refugee camps in Yidda. It was evident that crisis relief was needed. We had some connections with individuals who could supply supplies into the Juba airport and then travel by truck to Yidda. We sponsored 2 successful relief projects where we delivered soap, salt, sappy drops, medicine, and medical supplies. Next slide. As we continue to look for other ways to support the region, we turned to education. We began sponsoring university students with both tuition and living expenses. So with this change in focus, we've been able to touch communities not only through clean water, but also through crisis relief and education. Next slide. Our current mission statement is the NubaWaterProject, brings life improvement in the Nuba Mountain region of Sudan through clean water and education. Our work is for the benefit of all Nuba people, regardless of religious or ethnic association. Improved health through better sanitation and hygiene can lower death and disease and allow them the ability to spend time on activities other than trekking for water, all which are examples of life improvement. Education is a key component of this. In the Nuba Mountains, women and children walk long distances to fetch water. Children in these pictures are digging for water at the end of the dry season, often instead of being in school. Adults don't have time for endeavors such as farming or business development. Schools in the area without water can't support a large group of children. The picture on the right is in the village of Orang. Their school has very few students since there's no water source nearby. And this village is the community which is our current focus for providing clean water. Since 2017, we've been able to resume our clean water endeavors. To date, we have sent over 770 borehole pump repair parts and toolkits into the Nuba Mountains for disbursement. I'm now going to highlight some of the specific communities that we've been able to impact over the last 4 to 5 years. Solera Village had 13 broken wells, and in 2018, we were able to send supplies and funds for the labor and repair of 6 of those. More recently, in 2021, we were able to repair 4 boreholes in Kagoria. Their wells had been damaged in the war. Let me just read a letter that we had from Elzadine, who grew up in this village and was helpful in us being able to help them. Hello, Martha. Greetings and thanks for your email. It's true, the people of Kagoria are suffering from water because everything was damaged by the cause of war. Water wells, tanks, pumps, school, and hospital. And we need great effort to repair. I am pleased and thankful for your help. Our current project, and one of the largest we've planned to undertake, is for a 67-meter well with a submersible solar-powered pump. Once this is established, we hope to install a water tank on top of the tower. This way, the water will be accessible without hand pumping. This well in Orang will serve over 3,000 people and 3,500 head of livestock. It will also be able to supply water to their nearby school. We're collaborating with local Rotary clubs and Sudanese living in the U.S. for funding. And the Denver Southeast Rotary Club has started us off with a $5,000 donation toward the project. Okay, next slide. Sappy drops, if you're not familiar with them, are a tremendous way to allow villagers to have clean water. 1 drop cleans 1 gallon of water. We've been sending bottles over with contacts and students that we have supported so that they can be distributed in the villages of the Nuba Mountains. As I mentioned earlier, we also shifted some of our focus to sponsoring the advanced education with the hope that individuals could then return to the Nuba Mountains to aid their people. Here are some of the students we've sponsored in the last few years. We've had 2 women who have gotten master's degrees in public education, another with a communications degree. Vario has received a degree in electrical engineering, Angelo in agriculture, and we're currently sponsoring Marisol as he goes to medical school in Uganda. Most of these students have returned to do projects in the Nuba Mountains, and we've been able to financially support many of their efforts. Mary has made 3 trips to give clean water and sanitation workshops. Villagers and village leaders have traveled across counties to attend. They started small, but our last workshop had 80 attendees, allowing these leaders to go back to their villages with sappy drops and with knowledge to share about the importance of clean water and hygiene. Rania, through Doctors Without Borders, was invited to speak at a conference in Europe. More recently, she has worked in a mobile clinic in the Nuba Mountains, where she's been able to treat many people who need care. Okay. Glario graduated in April of 2021. He's returned to the Nuba Mountains last summer and was able to deliver solar lanterns and aqua tablets to elderly and village leaders. We were able to provide the supplies and the cost of his transportation. He's now interested in working on a project to repair boreholes in his village of the Angelo graduated in May of 2021, and he's working with the Greater Nuba Action Coalition. He's conducted some agricultural interviews for agricultural surveys with farmers. He is currently back in the Nuba Mountains teaching agriculture classes to women through the Nuba Women's Association. He educates them on how to increase the yield in their crops, and then they're able to sell this increased yield in the markets. Okay. How do we support this work? It's through our donor community. Our largest fundraiser is the Walk for Sudan. Switch slides. This is the 16th year. We're expecting about 300 people, and we're holding this tomorrow afternoon. Next slide. We attempt to involve all ages and have partnered with many of the secondary schools in Cherry Creek and other districts. Martha Riley gives presentations to classes about the water shortages and the educational challenges of the children in the Nuba Mountains, especially the girls. Students form teams and raise funds. Last year, Eagle Crest High School raised around $5,000. They also participate in the walk, often with their families. This year, our Rotary Club, the Southeast Denver Club, is participating with a team and volunteers. We have other sponsors. One of our most active is the Lotus Financial Partners. We hold a Sudanese celebration at the middle school from 1 to 2. There will be display tables. Switch. A Sudanese market. Next slide. A silent auction. And then we have a short program from about 1:30 to 2. This is the time you can register, pick up your t-shirt, and enjoy some refreshments. The 5K walk, it's about 3 miles from Cherry Creek State Park, starts at 2. We generally raise about $20,000 that we can put toward our wash projects. This year's funding will likely go toward our Orang Well project and supporting Warsall and Medical School, as well as other smaller projects that will emerge. Our goal is to impact communities through clean water and educating people. Some communities that we're digging and walking for water now have access to wells for clean water. We hope to increase that number. We've seen our students return to the Nuba Mountains in order to share their knowledge and expertise, and we would be pleased to have you join us in our endeavors in the Nuba Mountains. Next slide. If you'd like to come to our event tomorrow, Walk for Sudan, you can go to our website, which is on some armbands we have, if you like. You can also take a picture of this QR code, and we'll take you to the Walk for Sudan website with more information. And then the next slide, if you would like to connect or learn more about NubaWaterProject, you can use this code to sign up for our newsletter, and the website is at the bottom. We also have an exhibitor table with other information that you're back down there today. So thank you for joining us today, and we have questions.
Thank you, Martha, for that extremely informative and articulate presentation. I first went to that area 43 years ago to the town of Kadukli, which Martha, Steve, Martha, Ray all know well. So that was my first trip to that area so long ago. And I've had an affinity for the area ever since. We want to open it, of course, to questions and comments from the audience. We have just a few moments. Am I right, Tim?
Correct.
I want to be respectful, but I also want to give our chance to our friends to share or to ask questions or to make comments.
Oh, and we have time here for questions.
We have time.
And I don't see any on the chat. So
okay, so we'll take questions, comments, and critiques from our friends right here. Please jump in.
Yes.
Yeah, what are the common waterborne diseases in the area? The
The waterborne diseases.
Because you're there, because you want them to have clean water,
Yes,
so what are the problems?
the common ones.
Cholera. for
Cholera,
sure.
yeah.
Cholera outbreaks, like a lot.
Cholera,
I think it's whatever diseases are common to any underdeveloped area, it's going to be, waterborne illnesses, dysentery, cholera, those kinds of things. It's really no different there than any other area. I don't think they have a big chemical pollution problem in Middle Mountains, although there may be some of that, but the main concern is the waterborne illness.
So that another session I was in today, they were talking about testing, and that was something I realized we haven't really thought a lot about. But do you do any of that? Any of the testing? I mean, like for the other thing I hadn't thought about is heavy metals and when you're getting well water, a lot of times you don't even think about that, but it's there, or it can be.
That's our plan with this project in Iran. We've already talked about how, once the drilling is done, that definitely testing is going to be going on. Part of the maintenance.
I don't know about the chemical or the heavy metals and so forth. I don't know if there's any concern about that there. Never heard of any. Talked to a lot of people that live there or have lived there or have relatives that live there. It's never been a concern, but I've seen wells, I've seen water coming out of the well, I've seen water in the beer cans, and contamination from bio is really a big problem. It's headed everywhere. It's just, that's why we've promoting the safe water drops, the sappy drops, because it doesn't do anything with the chemical contamination, but it will do something about the biohazard flavor in water. So
Two of the folks that I'm very fond of, and I know you folks are fond of them too, featured in Martha's presentation, were George Tuto, who I've known for many years. In fact, I often meet with him when he returns from Sudan or from the Nuba Mountains and chat with him about his exemplary work, honored by you and connection with you.